Here's 10 facts that you didn't know about Game of Thrones. So let's start with number 10. Back in 2009, Tom McCarthy directed the pilot of Game of Thrones. Eventually, the pilot was scrapped, rewritten, and reshot, trading its location of Scotland and Morocco for Northern Ireland, Croatia, and Malta. Finally, Tim Van Patten took over Tom McCarthy. The issues that were there in the original plot, such as Starks not being fully fleshed out, were rectified. In addition to the insider who saw the original pilot, claiming that they didn't even know until the end of the first episode that Jaime and Crazy were brothers and sisters. Number 9. After Game of Thrones became an international phenomenon, new parents started honoring the show and their favorite characters by naming their children after them. In 2014, 1500 babies were named after Arya in the United States. Thankfully, there are no records of anyone naming their kid Joffrey, or at least no one is admitting to name their kid Joffrey. Number 8. You might not have noticed that there have been several casting crossover between Wizardworld and Westeros, with 9 cast members on Game of Thrones appearing in Harry Potter over the course of 8 films. Remember season 5? Natalia Tena as Osha the Wildling, and GOT and Tonks, a member of Order of Phoenix. The Michelle Fairley as Catelyn Stark herself was actually Mr. Granger, the mother of famous Muggle Hermione Granger. Number 7. If you know, Game of Thrones is famous for its female nudity, but what you might not know is that it's quickly becoming equally famous for its lack of male nudity. Over the course of the series, cries from media and celebrity have been getting louder regarding Game of Thrones' seeming objections to show full frontal male nudity on the same scale as it shows female nudity. Cast members such as Joffrey himself, Jack Gleeson, says, "I think that is one good thing to not just objectify women, but also objectify the beauty of main genitalia. We are all objects together." Number 6. Guys, did you ever fast forward it through Game of Thrones intro, saying to yourself that it's just too long and boring? Well, don't. Well, everyone knows that the Game of Thrones intro shows a very cool map over its very iconic theme song. What many of us don't know is that the location in the intro changes whenever a new land is introduced. Number 5. Peter Vaughan, the actor who plays the blind Master Aemon of the Wall, is actually blind in real life. The actor portrays Aemon as a wise and trusted man, and his blindness lends the character a compassionate side not often seen on those of Game of Thrones. Always, the calm old man Master Aemon has seen a lot of shit in his life, or more accurately, not seen it. Number 4. Well, it's not insurance in technical sense, but seeing as George R.R. Martin is yet to write 2 books in the Song of Ice and Fire series and has no idea on when those books will be complete. Soon after Game of Thrones started on HBO, Martin sat down with the showrunners and told them the ending of the books in case he dies before he has a chance to finish the writing. Number 3. George R.R. Martin knows what he's doing, and he does not need the internet or fancy computer to do it. When discussing how he writes his book, Martin said that he despises spell checks and autocorrects, which actually makes sense considering that most of his words and names in Game of Thrones series are just a jumble of letters. Just to let you know, Martin writes on MS-DOS computer using WordStar 4. Game of Thrones is the most pirated show in the world, constantly breaking its own records for illegal downloading that it had set in previous episodes. In a recent example, the season 5 episode, The Wars to Come, was downloaded 13 million times, resulting in a reported $44 million loss for that one episode alone. Meanwhile, another season 5 episode, Kill the Boy, racked up 2.2 million downloads in just 12 hours, setting up a new record. Finally, number 1. Talking about Game of Thrones, how can we forget Hodor? Everyone's favorite giant. Hodor is the closest thing there is to pure goodness in Game of Thrones. Though, technically, all he does is says Hodor. But there's actually more to it than that. According to the actor who plays Hodor, Christian Nairn, there are 70 different ways to say Hodor, and each way means something different.
Hodor? Hodor. 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 Hold on.
Hold on, Taya.
Hold on.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Yeah, I think it's 10 or 15%.
तारीख पर तारीख तारीख पर तारीख तारीख पर तारीख मिलती रही है, लेकिन इंसाफ नहीं मिला मिलोड, इंसाफ नहीं मिला।